It is now 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it is 7:30 a.m. Korea time. So we are going to kick off the very, very first C.A.P.E.rsona Chat, uh, sponsored by Pamper Purpose Service. On the line, you have me, Octavia Scott. I am the founder of Pamper Purpose Service. And you have Julian, also known as Tiara Kirkland. And so right now, we're just going to talk. And right now, Julian, Tiara, it's just me and you. So we just going to do what we do. All right. So with that,
like tea time as always.
So without further
I like your coffee mug. It's cute.
Oh, this little thing. So long story short, in Kentucky, I was asked to speak at a breast cancer program for one of the local churches, and the pastor, she gave me this gift for just coming to speak and share my story. And this cup was in that gift. It was this cup, and it was also a book, a gift certificate, a whole bunch of things. And while we were there, she said to me, she don't know me from anybody, like literally just met me. And she said, I see you writing a book, and I see you at the White House. This is what she said to me. And so this particular cup, even though, I prefer other colors, I go to this cup because it reminds me of that moment that she and I had. And sure enough, and let me be honest, I had thought about writing a book. I really had, but I hadn't really put forth any real effort towards doing it. So that prophecy was on point so far. I have not made it to the White House, but I have in fact written a book. So, okay.
One half already accomplished. So, I know you've been writing your whole life. So tell me, like, how did you get into writing, and like, why do you use it as your outlet? How long you've done it?
So writing for me, it surprises me when people they believe that I'm an extrovert. They believe that I'm a people person, because growing up, I was not that person. I was the one that was in the house reading, writing poetry, just being very much an introvert. So I grew into this whole people person that people think I am right now. So writing for me has literally always been just the way I communicated with myself, the way I would sometimes communicate with the world. But so that's kind of how that started.
And writing has been very therapeutic. Like, I know a lot of my friends write, and it's therapeutic and things like that. And I know that you write poetry. And I was surprised. I was like, I just thought the book, was going to be all about poetry. But you incorporated it with the storyline. And I really, really love that. And I like how you have a poem. Each poem has a different story. So do you have a favorite poem from your book or anything like that?
So they're all my favorite. Everything is always my favorite. So I think my favorite one would probably be Kate, who gave me this thing in the first place, who told me.
I wore mine for vacation today.
I see you. And mine is always close by, even though I'm not wearing it right now. I took it off for this chat, but I got to put it back on in just about 30 minutes. But so that's definitely my favorite. And because it just gets at the essence of, we call this C.A.P.E.rsona Chat, right? And a persona is a public image. And we have this persona where we are in fact superheroes, and we've got to go and do all these, tasks and just be so many different things to so many different people. And that is a persona. It's a public image. But there comes, what do we do when it's just, Octavia, or it's just Tiara, or it's just how do we take care of ourselves? So that particular point for me, it just got after what I'm going through right now in my life.
I know, like, just from reading it, the very first chapter, I was like, I could resonate with the character. I was like, this girl been listening, eavesdropping on my life, like, because it's like you put out for the world, like, okay, you're this, you're this, all these different personas and how people perceive you to be and how you're supposed to be. And at the day, it's just like, I'm lonely. I don't even really know myself because I'm pleasing other people and trying to be, I'm a people pleaser, trying to be other people, what other people want me to be, or be on this pedestal. But I was like, wow, it's like this character like resonate with a lot of different people, what we're feeling, because we're strong. I'm one of the people in my, core groups of friends. I'm the strong one. I'm the one that's always checking on them. And now, with COVID and everything, like now I'm having to do a more job, like to make sure everybody's good. But now my friends are like, okay, I need to check on my strong friend because she's always taking care of other people. Who's taking care of her?
Yeah.
And so, and that's what's resonating. That's one thing I like about, also the organization that you're launching or has launched, Pamper Purpose Service. And, I think that's a really good initiative for us as women and just people in general to always put ourselves first and take care of ourselves. So
let me tell you something about that. So the name of the organization, Pamper Purpose Service. One thing that you might not notice about it, not necessarily in some of the titles, but in the way it was incorporated, it is Pamper period, Purpose period, Service period. And that order is very intentional. So we have got to be okay with taking care of ourselves. Before we go out and we live our purpose, before we go out and share our purpose and our gifts through service with others, we've got to be very intentional about taking care of ourselves. And we don't do that well. We don't do that well because it's not a priority. And most people, you're going to put that service first, or you're going to put that purpose first. And if Pamper makes the list at all, it's at the end, and it is like it's an afterthought. But we cannot really be the most effective with fulfilling our purpose and sharing our talents if we do not take care of ourselves first. And that is not something that I have done extremely well. But writing the book kind of helped me to get after, why don't I do this well? Why am I so comfortable giving everything to everybody else and not taking care of myself? And so that to me was extremely therapeutic.
Yeah, I completely understand. And I'm just wondering, like, why now? Like, why now? I know you talked about, wanting to launch a couple of things, but why right now did you decide to, launch this?
Funny you should say that. So I don't know if you know this, but I am a whole officer in the United States Army. That is what I am.
One more time, but what?
I am a whole officer in the United States Army. I've been doing that for 18 years. And I tell everybody, 12 years went by before I ever even realized that, I was really doing this Army thing. So it's been a roller coaster. But the reason why Pamper Purpose Service and the reason why A Table for One happened right now is because I got selected for, battalion command. And I know non-Army people don't understand battalion command, but just think about what it is that you do and think about one of the biggest deals that you can have associated with what you do. And battalion command for the Army, that's what that is. I'll just call it a big deal. And so that big deal for me happens in July. In July 9th. And so for me, this is something that I had to do in order to make sure I can get my mind right for command. And it's a bucket list, it's a passion project. It is just something that I really wanted to do before I gave my undivided attention to being a commander, which is going to be extremely important. But that's why I wrote the book. Pamper Purpose Service is really work-life balance for me. One of the things I was most concerned about with command is, oh my God, like, how am I going to balance this with my life? Because I'm one of those people that when I go to work, I'll work all day. I might break away to go to CrossFit. I might break away to do other things, but I'm generally focused on work. And that scared me. I don't have anxiety attacks, but I almost had an anxiety attack thinking about how am I going to balance being in command with the rest of my life. And so Pamper Purpose Service is my work-life balance. And it is how I'm going to have something outside of work that I can reset, I can refuel. And when I go back to work, I'm that much more energized and ready to put on my cape.
Besides writing, what are other outlets or ways that you pamper yourself?
I think for me, writing is the biggest thing. But quite frankly, I really didn't write for a long time. I just was doing, work. And even though I enjoy work, I had stopped writing. So even the fact that I'm writing again to me is a big deal. And it's really, I've seen a change in my energy, a change in my personality, because I feel like I'm getting back to the core of who I am, which is of course, part of that is writing. But other things I do, I don't know if you can see over there, but I'm over there.
Which way?
Well, it's
Which way? This way or that way?
You gotta go left and here.
All right. I know you have permission to carry guns, but
So, working out is absolutely, an outlet for me. And running is, I get runner's high. And it's funny because I'm not built like a runner. Like I'm like all of 4'11", and sometimes I'm closer to 150 than 120. Let's keep it real. But but running for me is very much an outlet. CrossFit, spending time with that kid that I brought into the world. So it's just it's a balance. But what I struggle with is making time for those things, because it's nothing to put in a 12, 13, 14-hour day. Especially when you're starting at 5 o'clock and ending 7 or 8 o'clock. So you've got to be purposeful and deliberate about making time for those things.
Yeah, for those who don't know, like military people don't have like a 9 to 5. Like you're done with work once the work is done. So like snow days and all of this other things. No, they don't have those type of things. Trust me. I'm like, oh, you still working? Oh, I clock out at 3. So that's something people who don't know. Like military is always on call. Even when you're not in uniform, you're still working. So speaking of Amar produced the beat for your poem that you uploaded. Everybody check it out. It's on our YouTube page. I'm still I'm a background. She's the founder, but I help out from time to time. So check that out. The cape poem is very good. And, she wears her cape. And before we went live, she and I were talking about, the different types of cape personas that they are and what cape represents. And there are 5 different ones that we were discussing. But I call this one, and she has hers in the back. I call this one careful about protecting my energy, and we as people, we have to really protect our energy because, we're always taking care of other people, but sometimes that energy transfer to us. And so one thing that my best friend has got me to is like saging negative energy, saging the house and releasing that negative energy and sometimes pressing reset. And sometimes, it also brings me back to another one, which is, you can't always protect everyone because you always want to take on and protect them. But sometimes you have to let people, learn from the mistakes. And also sometimes you have to step back because you get too involved and it messes up your energy and the things you have going on and it shifts your focus. So, yeah.
So let me talk about my kiddo for a minute. So Amar Smith is my whole heart. I love that. That's my baby, right? And he's actually 20, but that's besides the point. One thing as he's transitioning to adulthood and manhood and all of that good stuff, he's trying to find his way, right? He's trying to figure out what is he going to do? Is he going to do school? Is he going to do music? Is he going to do both, etc.? And the only thing I tell him, and it's something that my mother and my grandmother told me, is do what makes you happy. Do what you're passionate about. There is no right way to be successful, right? If you get up every day and you're doing something that you love to do, whatever that is, that's what you were meant to do. That's what your purpose is. My son loves music. Like my son loves music the way I love writing. And so I would like for him, potentially to combine that with something that is maybe a little bit more I don't know. But at the end of the day, he has to be able to do what he is passionate about. And that's the same message that I want to bring to Pamper Purpose Service. When you think about your purpose, it has to be something that you are passionate about, something that makes your heart smile, something that makes your eyes light up when you talk about it. So that to me is a very, very big deal.
Okay. Okay. Speaking of passion, I know writing is your passion. So will there be any more books, in the works? I know you got Command and everything going, but I think, it could be a table for two.
Hey, no,
Different things.
no.
Hey, a trilogy. Who knows?
Listen, let me tell you why there will never be a table for two. Let me tell you why. Because
I'm listening.
the reason is because I am a one that I can get lost, right, in a relationship. I can get lost in that other person. And a table for one is very deliberate because it makes you focus on you. You cannot, let me talk about you, not talk about you. I cannot tie my happiness to another person. Because I don't have,
Right.
I don't have I don't know how to stop myself, right? And so I have to be very deliberate about making sure I'm a whole person, a whole happy person, a whole I can kick it with myself person before I go worry about a table for two. And so while I absolutely do possibly, maybe, I don't know, might write again, that theme of being a whole person, by yourself is not going to change. And I think with relationships, and trust me, I'm team love. I'm team relationship, but I'm not team getting lost in a whole nother person or a whole nother relationship to the point where, listen, I was listening to a song and the lyrics said, literally, the lyrics said, I'm nothing without you. In what world? In what world am I nothing without you? Because you something without me. So what
I'm like that legacy song. I add to you. I add value to you. Like
yes.
I'm that chick.
Yes.
I add value to you.
Yes.
Yeah, and a lot of people, they're so afraid to be alone that they rush and attach to other people. And I'm like, no, you need to learn how to be by yourself. Because then people see that weakness in you and you'll fall for anything or be mistreated for anyway. And I'm like, I'm okay by myself.
Absolutely.
Look, I'm a hot commodity.
Hey.
Hey. So yeah, Tiffany said there's no video. So I don't know what that means.
I don't know. So what do you do?
I don't know if you're really, really live or just live with us. So just putting that out. I just saw that on the comment section.
So what I'm going to do is once we finish, I'm going to post it to the Pamper Purpose Service Facebook page, and everybody can view it there. So I kind of like this because this is kind of how we talk, how we interact. And then I think everybody will have a chance to see the video once it's posted to the website. Ideally, it would have been an actual live video, but this is not our day job.
We have tech people for that. It took me all day to figure out how to do this, and I'm like, wow, I'm so out of touch. Yeah. I was like, I wish Mar was here. I called Tyleek, trying to figure out how to do it, and I'm like, you move too fast.
But we will figure it out
to you too.
Next time. We will figure it out.
Oh yeah, for sure. So there will not be a table for two. So what's next for Nia?
Taking command, absolutely.
Okay.
Growing as an individual. So, when that person comes along, there isn't that pressure for, him to carry me and carry him. You know, he can just focus on him. I can focus on me, and occasionally, you know, we can focus on each other. I don't want to bring pressure into a relationship. I want it to be natural. And so I got a prospect that I'm pretty, you know, confident about. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. Huh?
Yeah, it's here nor there, and I think that's a good thing because most people are they're like Velcro, like I can't do it. No, like I need my space. Like we can function together, we can come together and do things, and I think it's healthy in relationships to have space, and to be independent. And you can go and hang out with your friends or go do this. We don't have to always be together because that can be too toxic because you're become dependent.
Yeah.
And you get wrapped up in that person. And it's like, well, I can't do this without this person. And I'm like, no, you should be able to function, have your own life. Don't be like, if you're needy, like, why haven't you called me that? Maybe the person is busy. They got a life. They're trying to make something for themselves, But people who can always, always on the phone, that time, that energy can be bettering yourself.
I don't
learning
want
a
to
new
talk
hobby.
about this no more because I'm feeling like you're talking about me personally. I'm growing.
Your dog was taller, but I wasn't because if I was, you know what I would have said.
But you know the thing about it is, it's growth, right? It's absolutely growth.
Thank you, Lord, for grace and mercy and growth.
That's why.
Because some people with certain skills will make you stay in relationships even though you're not supposed to be in them because they got that special skill.
So I think right now, I think that the important thing, for me is to just continue to focus on individual growth, and that duality, that relationship thing will happen. But going forward, I'm excited about
what's new. Anything new?
So I'm excited about, I'm working on an outline for potentially, possibly, maybe, a new book. But I'm working on getting together the very first Pamper Purpose Service Symposium. So the reason, the vision behind all of this was never to write a book and never to do any of that stuff. It was to actually get young ladies in a room and talk to them about how to pamper themselves, how to live in their purpose, and how to share their talents with their community. Because, growing up, I was just not in that space where I took care of myself, where I was able to worry about my passion and where I can give back. And so the end game for Pamper Purpose Service is to have a 3-day symposium in my hometown of Sylvania, Georgia, hopefully next summer, and to just have that opportunity to bond and to mentor younger ladies and potentially even younger boys. So that's it.
And so, we'll be working on registration and sign up and things on the website in the near future for, the next summer event and things like that. So do you have any speaking engagements, anything like that? How do we stay in contact with you? How do we find out more about the organization?
So I would highly encourage you to go over to www.pamperpurposeservice.com. And it is a combination of more about each one of those core tenets of the organization. It is a blog. It is the place where we can, hang these C.A.P.E.rsona Chats. So the blog for me, my intent is to upload new content every 2 weeks, no more than monthly. And because again, to me, that is work-life balance. So forcing myself to write is going to be, a really good forcing mechanism for me. But yeah, so that's as far as speaking engagements and things like that. I do a lot from the military side. I do a lot, just in general with my other organizations. But I will very soon transition to focusing on command. And there's also an IG account at pamper.purpose.service. There is also a YouTube page And there's a LinkedIn coming. There's Twitter coming. Yeah.
And Facebook.
And
Of course,
Facebook. Of course.
Yeah, so, just those don't know, I love you because I came out of retirement from Facebook to be here and to support you.
You did.
I haven't been on like almost 10 years, but hey, I love you. And I really appreciate, the book is very good. I was hooked from like the first page and I can't wait to see what you're doing. And I love the initiatives that you have with Pamper Purpose Service, and anything you need from me, I'm always here for you. And I can't wait for it to have the symposium and, to give back to the community. And it just also makes me, we're pampering ourselves so that we can walk in our purpose and be of service to others. And that kind of makes me resonate with, Grandma. Yeah, make me think about Grandma Amy, how she was always of service to people. Yeah. So it's just for us to give back, with Scott's Village that you have and everything like that. I know you didn't really talk about it, but, we'll save it for episode 2. But it's just like the service is a major component of our family, the Scotts. If you don't know, we have always been of service to people, like in our communities. We, last Thanksgiving, we like fed a lot of people in our communities and things like that. And I was going to say the major, but now it's not major, it's Lieutenant Colonel. Scott always, helps those in need and people in her community with always, giving. So, it's almost time to put your cape on. I'm glad you got a little time to take it off. I know you have to go. You're busy about to take command.
All right.
Okay.
I'm putting it on because, having to me, it's a privilege to be able to wear a cape. That's a big deal. Not everybody can do it, right? So I will never complain about having a cape to wear. I'm just very intentional about taking it off when it's time to do that.
And that's very good. Yeah.
All
so
right.
I appreciate you putting it on and taking it off. You're welcome.
I will see you
Love
in a
you.
couple of weeks. Bye, boo.
For sure.
Bye.
All right. Bye.